Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvaro.
Amen.
Just say page Chav Zayin on top. If you don't have that page, then you have the right page there.
What sign?
Okay, good Chodesh. And welcome to everyone who's out there. A slight delay in beginning today because we had a wonderful Rosh Chodesh davening. So if you're out there, I welcome you to here. We're continuing with this piece that we began with of Mottel on understanding and accepting that Hashem Yisbarach loves Yisrael. We did this as a preparation for Pesach, and now that the Chametz has returned, we are still in need of this avoda. All of this is based upon a few words of Mesilas Yesharim that among the important Hisbonenus contemplations is to contemplate Godel Ahavas Yisrael, the great love that Hashem has for Yisrael. And the whole piece we've been learning really is a way of discussing the ideas that might be part of a person's personal internal Hisbonenus contemplation. Rav Mottel is assisting us in giving us many ideas and concepts to think about toward accepting and absorbing that there is an immense love between Hashem and Yisrael, as we describe it daily, twice in our tefillah, Ahavas Olam Aftanu, or Ahava Rab Aftanu, an eternal love, a great love, you have loved us. It's a very significant part of Avodas Hashem to a person to really contemplate that. And the stronger that realization is, the stronger the person is as an Oved Hashem. We are on page Chav Zayin here, Chav Zayin, the first column on the bottom paragraph. So having concluded a piece describing this love that Hashem has for Yisrael and initiating a relationship in Mitzrayim with Yisrael, Rav Mottel concludes the following words: Imkein, hayuchal adam la'avor b'shivyon nefesh al kol hadavar zeh. Is it possible for a person to simply gloss over all of this? Kilu kol davar zeh eino nogeh lo klal, as if this whole thing does not really pertain to one. Ve'eni adam mizeh, we don't know of it. That we should be in a situation that we're completely absent of this. So for many of us, this aspect is really just missing. And it's like it almost doesn't exist. But it's there throughout the Tanakh. Hashem gives this message constantly. And it's so integral in establishing Avodas Hashem. How is it possible that this thing is just like, it's like a parsha that doesn't exist? V'halo yesh lo ladas, it's upon us to know. Sheyesh lo Elokim shu tov. We have a God that's good. Umeitiv and does good. V'ohev oso kol kach, and loves us so much. Ukvarim midabrim miteva haneshama. Now we are not speaking here about the nature of the soul. Sheyenet tzricha l'shum hesber al hava gadola. The soul needs no shmuz, doesn't need any sort of class on the great love. Okay, I'm going to pause on this idea and try to go a little bit deeper. It's an idea we discussed here. And that is that just as the guf, the body, and the nefesh habahamis has a tev, has a nature, the neshama has a nature. Like Chazal bring this point out in the Medrash. Chazal say that on the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, if you'll try to arouse the love, to give the love, it says boz yavuzu lo, will be disgraced, projected. Chazal say it's a mashal, it's a parable to a villager that marries a princess. If he brings her all the great delicacies in the world, all the great beautiful gifts, it's buzz, it's disgraceful in her eyes. Because whatever he can come up with falls short of what she already has experienced. So too, whatever we will give the neshama in the way of material, physical, sensual pleasures, it's nothing to the neshama. It doesn't speak to the neshama. It doesn't meet what its needs are. So Chazal are bringing out that the guf of the person, the body, and the instinctual person has a certain teva, nature. And there are certain things out there in the world that satisfy that. Certain types of pleasures, physical pleasures, emotional pleasures, sensual pleasures that satisfy the person as a human. And then there's a teva, a nature to the neshama. And the neshama is unsatisfied by those things. The neshama is satisfied by spiritual things, by a kasher, a bond with Hashem, by ideas, ruchnis, ideas, if you can use that term. It's inspired by mitzvahs. These things speak to the neshama. You know, it's like in marketing. Like there's a market that you have to market to everyone. So there are certain words, right, that are very attractive to different populations. And there are different ways of how to present something that make it attractive to different types of people. If you're male population, female population, children population. So the marketers know the teva, the nature of the market, of who they're marketing to. And therefore, then they present their goods with the right words that elicit the reaction they know it's going to get. So you have to speak to the male population one way, the female population another way, children in a different way, and present them with the goods and with the wrappings of what is appealing to them. So the neshama also the teva. It's just nature. It wants ruchnis. So when we're speaking here about all these ideas, we're not speaking to the neshama. The neshama doesn't need a shmooze. Doesn't need a whole long discourse. Hashem loves you. Hashem is a very strong kesher because it feels that. It's natural to the neshama to feel that. It knows that. So everything over here is not for the neshama. I'm not trying to educate the neshama, to inspire the neshama. The neshama feels this and has this sense already. What we're trying to do is speak to the person, the ideas, because the point is, the way into our neshama is on through our mind. Right? So we can get us to understand ruchnistic ideas in our head and begin to absorb ruchnistic things. Maybe even not by the experience, by the concepts, by the ideas. We begin to absorb them. That's a way into our neshama. And so we begin to replace the ideas that we have in our head that belong to the area of physical ideas, this world ideas, rational ideas, and replace it with the ideas in the neshama, ruchnistic ideas. So everything over here is toward that. So when we begin to absorb the ideas, then that's a way for us then to begin to access and to feel everything the neshama naturally does on its own. So that's what he means when he says, we're not speaking about the teva of the neshama. The neshama doesn't need any sort of hesber, any explanation. It knows and feels and experiences constantly the immense love it's enveloped in by Hashem. It's like a child. It really has parents that love the child. The child knows that parents love them. The child has the experience in a constant way. Says Mottel, but even from the vantage point of the nature of the body, of the human, the nature is like one face is to the other. When there's someone that loves you, you return the love. In other words, when we speak about the person as a human, so then there's a way of being able to experience this love by recognizing the love. When you recognize the love, then love is returned. Someone loves you, cares about you. So we have a sort of principle, kamayim, like the water reflects the person. Kain leva adam al adam, the person's heart will then respond to the feelings that the person has for him. So therefore, all of this is about the recognition that Hashem loves us. And when we recognize that, then we return that love. Now this idea that Mottel is saying really has its source in the Sefer Tanya. And Tanya writes, in the introduction to the Shar HaYichud VeHaEmunah, the gate of unity and faith, and what's known as the Chinuch Katan, Tanya writes the following words. And we're speaking here about precisely this point, about reaching a place of being able to have Avas Hashem, love of Hashem. So he says, V'achar kach yizbonen. Afterwards, what he's speaking about, yizbonen, a person should contemplate. V'ahavas Hashem hagedola v'nifla, the great and wondrous love that Hashem has elenu for us. Leired l'mitzrayim, that he descended into Egypt. Ervas haaretz, the place of great nakedness, means a place of great tumah, a place that's not receptive to Hashem. And yet, he descended there, lahotzi nishmoseinu, to extract our souls, mikur habarzel, from this refinery. Shua sitra achar, which is really the place of the sitra achar of tumah. So the souls of the Jewish people were entrenched in a very Tamei place, Hashem went down there to extract our neshamas. What Salomar means, Likarveinu, a love to draw us close to Him. Ulidavkeinu b'shmo mamish, and to help and to allow us to cling to His name literally. He and His name are one. Tahainu, in other words, Sheromamnu mitachlis hashifus. He elevated us from the depth of lowliness, v'hatzuma, and distance, letachlis hakidusha, to the height of sanctity, ugedulasa yizbarach, and to His infinite nature. She'en leketz v'tachlis, there's no end. The person contemplates that. Azai kamai mapanam apanam, like water reflects the face. Tisorer ahava believe kol maskil umizboni. Love will then be aroused in the heart of every thinker of this matter, on the depth of their heart. Le'ehov as Hashem, to love Hashem, ahava as a strong love, u'ledav kabo b'leiv nefesh, and to cling to Him with heart and soul. So this is where Mottel is coming from. This source, this idea, from the Tanya, it's through contemplating the realization of Hashem's love for us, that a person can be moved to arouse the love. In other words, to draw the love that's natural to the neshama into our own being, we have that experience of loving Hashem. With the great love without end, a love that's beyond all boundaries. Is it not proper we should return that love without boundary? The Isa b'medrash. There is a medrash. Parshas like Yishlach, Medrash says the following thing. Begimel l'shona shel chiba, chibe hakadosh baruch hu es Yisrael. With three powerful expressions of love, as Hashem expresses His love for the Jewish people. B'deveka, through attachment. B'chasheka, through desire. Uv'chafetza, through wanting. Each of these are obviously describing very certain types of emotions. We give it those English terms. Three different expressions of Hashem's love for Yisrael. As the Medrash, and we derive this teaching from an odd place, from the parsha of this wicked person. Speaking of Shechem ben Chamor, Shechem, son of Chamor, that violated Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, in that parsha over there. B'dveka. We learn this from that parsha, first using the word dveka, dveka's attachment. It says concerning Shechem, "Vatidbak nafsho," his soul clung to Dinah. And the Medrash goes on to show how each of these languages are used in that parsha. Now, Shechem clings to, desires, and wants Dinah. And the Medrash shows psukim in Tanakh where Hashem uses the very same words for His love for Yisrael. Okay, so on the surface, all you have is a parsha where you have a rasha being described, these feelings for a woman, and then we find the same expressions that Hashem has for Yisrael. So Mottel explains. Hainu shahavos elu hey mahavos nefulo shenafla etc. These loves are, quote, fallen loves that fell to the side of Tumah. Aval hashoresh shalahavos elu, but the root of these loves, ba me'ahavas Hashem, comes from love of God. So to explain, Rav Mottel is touching on a very fundamental idea in Chasidus, in Avodas Hashem, and that is that every human experience of an emotion, while it may be directed to something that is sensual and physically satisfying, it really has a shoresh, has a root. And that root, like everything, is kedusha, sanctity. So we may view it as, well, you can love this or love that, or love something good, love something not good. But the understanding from Kabbalah and Chasidus is that the shoresh, the root of everything, is just tov, good, and kedusha. And where we might find the very similar emotion used towards something not good, that is that very same love, but nefula, it's fallen. It's fallen from its essential and initial shoresh root to be expressed in a lowly fashion. So if we find that Shechem expresses these types of feelings for a woman, that's simply describing the potential of these feelings for Hashem and where its root really is. That ahava, love, is really directed toward and has its source in something actually good and kadosh. This whole perspective allows us to be able to see that where a person may be directing an emotion towards something, that is sort of a present expression of something, but not its real place. And therefore the person has the potential to reroute it to its proper place. So if you see powerful emotion being used and directed towards something that's raw, it's not good, or just lowly, that it can be redirected to its real root. And that redirecting is simply finding its initial place, its true place. So that's the idea of a nefula. If we have a midah that's fallen, it means it's being expressed in a way that's it's fallen away from its real nature, its true place. So here it's an ahava nefula, to fall in love. But really, that love belongs in kedusha, and that really describes essential types of loves, like the love that Hashem has for us. And that's the connection of the parsha. In other words, it's not just simply a parallel. Well, we find it by Shechem, and we find the same words with Hashem. No. Rather, if you find it with Shechem, that means that those characteristics of love, very powerful descriptions, are really rooted in proper love. Rest assured that those are the expressions of the love that Hashem has for Yisrael. That's the basic concept. Now Shechem himself is going toward doing something just very, very abnormal and inappropriate. Because he desired the daughter of Yaakov, he was prepared to turn over the whole city, to make them one people with Yisrael. Because the children of Yaakov conditioned, if you want to be part of our people, you have to perform a bris milah on the whole entire city. So he was prepared to do absolutely something really strange, abnormal, to fulfill his desire. And although he knew that Bnei Yisrael are completely different people, and they have their own tradition, nevertheless, because of his lowly desire, he was prepared to do something really abnormal. Is really a type of craziness. As a person sort of is just taken in the moment by an emotion and just held by it. And because of the power of that emotion, they're just driven to do something that really is not rational, does not make sense. Shigan, craziness. Says Mottel. Now, craziness also has its root in holiness. So this craziness of this fallen love comes just from Shigan Shal Kedusha, a craziness of Kedusha. Staying with this principle that everything that we find here, its characteristics of human interactions, really has a root in sanctity. So the idea of going and doing something is really not in line. It's not, let's say, normal. Also has a root in Kedusha. That has a place in Kedusha. And Mottel even cites a pasuk in Mishlei and Proverbs, and this is written, Bi ahavasa tishgat hamid. Literally means like in the love you'll be immersed in. But tishge is related to the word shigaon, craziness. In love, you'll be crazy. You'll become crazy in love for Hashem. There is a type of craziness, in other words, not normal, that can overwhelm a person that has a love of Hashem. Shemishdagi mamish, a person can really be crazy, machmas avas Hashem, v'yosim l'malam das, they can go beyond das. And that's not describing something bad. It could translate into something that's not good, it breaks proper boundaries, but the shigal means going beyond your das. Try to explain a little bit. In other words, a person will often be kept in check and not ascend to a place of an emunah, a closeness to Hashem, because of a limitation of the rational mind. And just like the person that's crazy is not working with the rational mind, right? And therefore they do things that are not irrational. So it's possible for a person to go beyond the rational mind in their closest to Hashem. Not that they do not normal behavior. That's not what it means. What it means is they're able to go beyond limitations of knowledge, of the rational, and be able to touch on a type of closeness to Hashem that their normal das, normal thinking, wouldn't allow them to touch. So their das, their intelligence only takes them thus far. And above that is what we call emunah. That's what they were describing, a type of emunah, attachment to Hashem, that is not the outcome of a person's knowledge of Hashem, using the rational mind. So, just to show you how far it goes, type of love that Hashem has for Yisrael, that we can have for Hashem, is not only this powerful love, but it's really like, it's not irrational, not irrational love. For it can break boundaries. There are many psukim. Especially if you look in the book of Psalms, you will find Hamidaber me'inyan Avas Hashem v'Ahavas Knesset Yisrael Doda. Speak of the love of Hashem for Yisrael and the love that the Jewish people have for our beloved Hashem. This is a very big principle in the entire Torah. We may say upon this principle, Shu Klal Gadol Torah. It's a great principle. So not only is a whole section that we should not ignore at all, but this stands a very firm and encompassing principle in Avodas Hashem, to realize the powerful love that's going between the congregation of Israel, the collective soul of the Jewish people, and Hashem. It's not like a detail. This is a cloud. This is a very great principle. And one would surmise that from seeing all the different psukim that you find throughout the Tanakh, especially in Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, as well as in Tehillim, that describe this love. And therefore, in conclusion, every single chassid that contemplates this, will arouse his heart to a great love to Hashem. So the outcome of this type of contemplation and this realization can really bring the teva of the neshama, the nature of the soul that has the love stored in it. As the Tanya writes many places, there's a hidden, as well as concealed natural love for Hashem in every single Jewish soul. It needs to be exposed. And then, of course, there are many, many madrigos, levels of this love. One of the most simple and practical places of where a person can do this contemplation without even having to designate special time for it is really into davening itself. And this is really the purpose of the whole tefillah, as the Tanya explains, that Shacharis is all about arousing your love for Hashem. That's it. The whole goal of the tefillah, especially Shachar, he says, is to take this concealed love and to stoke it, to touch it, and to bring it into the consciousness and the actual feeling of the Jew. And one of the most simple places to contemplate this is when we actually say it in davening, in the tefillah before Shema, in the Ahavas Olam, both in the morning and the evening, to really hear the words that we are saying. Ahavas Olam Avtanu, eternal love, Chamla Gedola, great compassion. The Nor Marif, the Ahavas Chal Tasir Mimenu Lalam, your love you should never remove from us forever. And by simply listening to what we're saying, it's a very simple place for a person to come to this type of contemplation. And I remember davening with Rav Tzimayer and the great tzaddikim in Yerushalayim today, great servants, and the whole base measure spends a good amount of time on this particular tefillah, just stopping everything. And really spending time immersing themselves into the feelings that are implicit in this tefillah. So it doesn't require a person to designate a whole significant time outside of tefillah itself, which may be difficult. Use the davening itself. Especially if a person finds themselves where they're not davening with a minyan, so they can slow things down more, they could just say it very slowly. And just saying it more slowly allows the mind to really absorb what the mouth is saying, and for the feelings to begin to feel it. And it's really quite simple. Okay, so we will hold it over there for today, and I wish everyone a wonderful Chodesh, and we should be renewed with a whole renewal of each person to reapproach Hashem and our relationship with Hashem, with the Torah and its mitzvos in a new and refreshed way. And Hashem Yisrael should bless each person that should have a Chodesh Tov, good Chodesh, a Chodesh of revealed kindness, loving kindness for all the Jewish people and for the whole world. And we should experience Hashem revealed within ourselves and Hashem revealed in the world in this Chodesh of Iyar.